Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to my sermons. Today we are going to be doing Genesis 18, and I found a new translation. It's going to be perfect. Um, it's a New Living Translation. It's a lot more literal instead of like old. What I mean is, like, it's a lot more like new. It's like how people talk now instead of like old English. So it's modern English. So let's see how this goes. So let's do this, boys. All right. The Lord appeared again to Abraham near the oak grove belonging to Mamre. One day, Abram was sitting at the entrance of his tent during the hottest part of the day. He looked up and noticed three men standing nearby. When he saw them, he ran to meet them and welcomed them, bowing low to the ground. "My lord," he said, "if it pleases you, stop here for a while. Rest in the shade of this tree while water is brought to wash your feet. And since you've honored your servant with this visit, let me prepare some food to refresh you before you continue on your journey." "All right," they say. "Do as you have said." So these people are actually angels in disguise. Um, but Abraham knew. That's why he said, "My Lord." Anyway, let's continue. So Abraham ran back to the tent and said to Sarah, "Hurry, get three large measures," which means Hebrew three seahs in about 15 quarts or 18 liters. So it's about 15 quarts, or if you live in Great Britain, it's 18 liters of your best flour. Knead it into dough and bake some bread. So they're about to serve the angels. Then Abram ran out to the herd and chose a tender calf and gave it to his servant, who quickly prepared it, which means like he killed it and made it into meat. When the food was ready, Abraham took some yogurt and milk and the roasted meat and served it to the men. As they ate, Abraham waited on them in the shade of the trees. "Where is Sarah, your wife?" the visitors asked. "She's inside the tent," Abraham replied. Then one of them said, "I will return to you about this time next year, and your wife Sarah will have a son." Sarah was listening to this conversation from the tent. Abraham and Sarah were very old by this time, and Sarah was long past the age of having children. Now, which that means like when people get older, they're unable to have children. Like if they're at a certain age. So she laughed silently to herself and said, "How could a worn-out woman like me enjoy such pleasure, especially when my master, my husband, is also so old?" Because God made it where like husbands quote rule over unquote the woman. Not exactly rule over, but they are supposed to represent God in their household. I mean, they don't always succeed, but because of course we're imperfect humans, so no one's perfect. So anyway, let's continue. Then the Lord said to Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh? What did she say? Can an old woman like me have a baby? Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return about this time next year, and Sarah will have a son." Sarah was afraid, so she denied it, saying, "I didn't laugh." But the Lord said, "No, you did laugh." Then the men got up from their meal and looked out towards Sodom. As they left, where was I? I just lost my place in this. Oh, as they left, Abraham went to send them on their way. Should I hide my plan from Abraham? The Lord asks. For Abraham will certainly uh, become great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth will be blessed through him. I have singled him out so that he will direct his sons and their families to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is right and just. Then I will do for Abraham all that I have promised. So the Lord told Abraham, I have heard a great outcry from Sodom and Gomorrah because their sin is so flagrant. I am going to see if their actions are as wicked as I have heard. If not, I want to know. Other men turned and headed towards Sodom, but the Lord remained with Abraham. Abraham approached him and said, Will you sweep away both the righteous and the wicked? So God is going to destroy Sodom. But there are a few righteous people in Sodom because there are some evil people in Sodom, but there are also some godly people. And Abraham's saying, Are you going to kill all of them? Suppose you find 50 righteous people living there in the city. Will you still sweep it away and not spare it for their sakes? So he's saying if there's at least 50 righteous people in there, will you destroy them? Will you still destroy them? Surely you won't do such a thing, destroying the righteous along with the wicked. Why, you would be treating the righteous and the wicked exactly the same. Surely you wouldn't do that. Should not the judge of all the earth do what is right? Abraham's begging him because his son Lot lives in the city. And the Lord replied, If I find 50 righteous people in Sodom, I will spare the entire city for their sake. And then Abraham spoke again, Since I have begun. By the way, hold on, I forgot to mention. See the Lord's mercy. God is such a merciful God. He will spare. He will spare the righteous. He like sin affects everybody, but the Lord is righteous and He is just. He won't do the wrong thing. I mean, because He is the opposite of sin, basically. In fact, sin means disobeying God. Anyway, then Abraham spoke again, Since I have begun, let me speak further to my Lord, even though I am but dust and ashes. Like because we came from the ground, dust. Suppose there are only 45 righteous people rather than 50. Will you destroy the whole city for the lack of 5? And the Lord said, I will not destroy it if I find 45 righteous people there. Then Abram pressed his request further. Suppose there are only 40. And the Lord replied, I will not destroy it for the sake of 40. So 40 people are on that righteous will survive. Please don't be angry, my Lord, Abraham pleaded. Let me speak. Suppose only 30 righteous people are found. And the Lord replied, I will not destroy it if I find 30. Then Abraham said, Since I have dared to speak to the Lord, let me continue. Suppose there are only 20. And the Lord replied, I will not destroy it for the sake of 20. So he keeps going down, 20, 30, all that. Finally, Abraham said, Lord, please don't be angry with me if I speak one more time. Suppose only 10 people are found there. The Lord replied, I will not destroy it for the sake of 10. When the Lord had finished his conversation with Abraham, he went on his way, and Abraham returned to his tent. So, God will not destroy that city if He finds 10 righteous people in there, Lot's family. That evening, the two angels came to the entrance of the city of Sodom. Lot was sitting there, and when he saw them, he stood up to meet them. He welcomed them and bowed his face to the ground. My lords, he said, come to my home to wash your feet, and be my guests for the night. You may then get up early in the morning and be on your way again. Oh no, they replied, we'll spend the night out here in the city square. But by the way, they wash people's feet because like they had sandals, and that doesn't really protect against all the donkey poop and stuff, and they don't want that in the house. You know. But Lot insisted, so at last they went home with him. Lot prepared a feast for them, complete with fresh bread made without yeast, and they ate. what's called matzah. It's a Jewish bread. It's a flat bread because yeast makes the bread rise. But before they retired from the night, all the men of Sodom, young and old, came from all over the city and surrounded the house. They shouted the lot, "Where are the men who came to spend the night with you? Bring them out to us so we oh. Oh crud. I am going to if you guys don't want to hear the word, I'm going to uh put I'm gonna put my like mouse over like this, and once I take it off, it will mean I'm done explaining and all that. Bring them out so we can. Hold on. Actually, yeah, bring them out so we can have. All right, that means like you can be quiet. Have sex with them. So basically, if you don't know what that means, again, I'm gonna take once I take this off, this thing off, like my mouse off the yellow. That means I'm done explaining. If you don't want to hear it, mute it, and then sex means when a guy, like a boy and a girl, like obviously a lot older, put the boy's private and the girl's private, basically. That is how they create babies. All right, and we're back. So they actually want to have that word because if no one wants to hear it, because like some people are sensitive about that, and I don't want to hurt. I don't. That's not what I meant. I don't want to do little. So Lot stepped outside to talk to them, shutting the door behind him. "Please, my brothers," he begged, don't do such a wicked thing. Look, I have two virgin daughters. Now, virgin, I'm going to uh, uh virgin. Now this is still Lot talking. Virgins means all right. I'm gonna put my mouse on the thing if you don't want to hear it. It's something with the word up there. That some people might be same thing as before. Mute it if you don't want to hear it. Virgin means woman that has not had sex yet. And we're back. Let me bring them out to you. You can do with them as you wish. But please leave these men alone, the angels, for they are guests under my protection. Stand back, they shouted. Like they're making them like they're busting through. This fellow came to town as an outsider. Now he's acting like our judge. We'll treat you far worse than those men. As they lunged toward Lot to break down the door, but the two angels reached out and pulled Lot into the door and bolted the door shut. And then they blinded all the men, young and old, who were outside the door of the house, so they gave up trying to get inside. So he blinded all those guys trying to get inside. Meanwhile, the angels questioned Lot. "Do you have any other relatives in the city?" See, these are some evil people in here. "Get them out of this place, your sons-in-law, daughters, or anyone else. For we are about to destroy the city completely. The outcry against this place is so great, it has reached the Lord, and he has sent us to destroy it." So Lot rushed out to tell his daughter's fiancés, which means like soon to be wives, "Quick, get out of the city. The Lord is about to destroy it." But the young men thought he was only joking. At dawn next morning, angels became insistent. "Hurry," said to Lot. "Take your wife and your two daughters who are here. Get out right now, or you will be swept away in the destruction of the city." When Lot still hesitated, angels seized his hand, and like took his hand, and the hands like not off, but grabbed him and yanked him out of the city. Hurry, they said. All right. Seized his hand and the hands of his wife and his two daughters, and rushed them to safety outside the city. For the Lord was merciful. When they were safely out of the city, one of the angels ordered, "Run for your lives, and don't look back, or stop anywhere in the valley. Escape to the mountains, or you will be swept away." "Oh no, my lord," Lot begged. "You have been so gracious and saved my life, and you have shown great kindness. But I cannot go to the mountains. Disaster would catch me up there, and I'll soon die. See, there's a small village nearby. Please let me go there instead. Don't you see how small it is? Then my life will be saved." "All right," the angel said. "I will grant your request, and I will not destroy the little village." So, remember they said, "Do not look back. But hurry, escape to it, for I can do nothing until you arrive there." This explains why that village is known as Zor, which means the little place. Lot reached the village just as the sun was rising over the horizon. Then the Lord rained down fire and burning sulfur from the sky on Sodom and Gomorrah. He utterly destroyed them along with the other cities and villages of the plain, wiping out all the people and every bit of vegetation. But Lot's wife looked back. That is why you don't look back. You don't disobey the Lord. If he says don't look back, don't look back. But Lot's wife looked back as she was falling behind him, and she was turned into a pillar of salt. So she was basically just, her entire body became made out of salt. And, she's just like a statue of salt now. Abraham got, that'd be insane if archaeologists found her. Abraham got up early that morning and hurried out into the place where he had stood in the Lord's presence. He looked out across the plain towards Sodom and Gomorrah and watched as columns of smoke rose from the cities, like smoke from a furnace. But God had listened to Abraham's request and kept Lot safe, removing him from the disaster that engulfed the cities on the plain. Afterward, Lot left Zor because he was afraid of the people there, and he went to live in a cave in the mountains with his two daughters. I wonder what the danger is, One day the older daughter said to her sister, "There are no men left anywhere in this entire area, so we can't get married like everyone else, and our father will soon be too old to have children. Come, let's get drunk with I think this is the daughter talking. Let's get drunk with wine, and then we will have." If you don't want to hear the word again, I'm gonna put this thing on the thing, and I'm gonna mute it, and then of course, same thing as before. "And then we will have sex with him. In that way, we will preserve our family line through our father." So that night, they got drunk with wine, and the older daughter went and had intercourse, which means that word up there, with her father. He was unaware of her lying down or getting up again. So they had babies with their father. The next morning, the older daughter said to her younger sister, I'm going to put it on again, "sex with our father last night. Let's get drunk with wine again tonight, and you go in and have sex with him. That way we preserve our family line through our father." That night they got drunk with wine again, and the younger daughter went in and had intercourse with him. As before, he was unaware of her lying down or getting up again. Both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their own father. When the older daughter gave birth to a son, she named him Moab, and the ancestor of the nation now known as the Moabites. When the younger daughter gave birth to a son, she named him Ben Ami. The He became the ancestor of the nation now known as the Amorites. Ammonites, I'm sorry. And we are done, my boys. Alright, if you learned about something, good for you. Alright. Anyway, I am now going to end the video here. Hope you guys indeed did enjoy. Subscribe and like. Also check out Ultra Screen Boss, Phantom Hunter 176, and the Chaz Man Gaming. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.